Hi, welcome back to Gangster Movie Recaps. I hope you're feeling good right now. Wherever you are, let's watch Bone Tomahawk. After robbing and killing innocent travelers, two crooks disrespectfully walk through an Indian graveyard. One gets shook and lets the revolver blow. Something claps back with an arrow, hitting the crook in the throat. His partner knows they've been living wrong, so he busts his shots as he gets the hell on. There's a town called Bright Hope nearby. Arthur is a citizen who recently broke his leg. He's on bed rest for 12 weeks. His wife Samantha suggests that he takes it easy, so the couple hits the sheets to freak. The law in Bright Hope is Sheriff Franklin. The crook gets spotted entering the town, but they don't know anything about his recent criminal activities. The sheriff goes to introduce himself. The perp knows what that means, so he jumps up and tries to flee the scene, but the sheriff pops a cap in his caps. Samantha is a doctor. The sheriff sends a local to see if she's down to come and remove the bullet from the perp's knee. The sheriff uses her services all the time, so Arthur says it's fine. It's not the first time he's capped a perp. Samantha tells the sheriff he needs to chill. The sheriff basically says that's his style. Then he leaves her with the junior deputy, since he knows it's gonna take her a while. A citizen hears weird noises in his barn, so he goes to investigate the sound, not knowing that there are savages out to clown. They only show one other nig in the town, and this one gets tomahawked down. Arthur wakes up alone, since Samantha is gone. In the AM, a local gets Sheriff Franklin and lets him know that something's out to dim the lights on Bright Hope. They find the young man, and he's been cut from his intestine up to his throat. Realizing that savages have been to town, the sheriff and Chicory get the hell on, and try to figure what's going down. They run to the jail. The junior deputy is not there. Samantha's gone, and of course the crook is not in the cell. Sheriff Franklin finds a strange arrow left behind. Looking sorry as hell, the sheriff goes to let Arthur know that Samantha has been kidnapped, and as the law he's fucked up for sure. Arthur jumps off the porch. He's supposed to be on bed rest, but he's pissed now and all the way turned up, ready to search and rescue his boo. Boomer is the local who came and got Samantha, so he feels partly responsible. Sheriff Franklin tells Chicory that he's too old to roll, but Chicory insists on riding along, so the Bright Hope posse rides out and get the hell on. Arthur knows he's tripping for being on horseback with a bad leg, but he pushes through the pain and tries to brace for the journey ahead. When they stop to water the horses and take a break, Arthur has a decision to make. He posts up to take off his leg brace and check his wound, but taking his boot off with a broken leg definitely makes him wish he'd stayed his ass home. The gang learns that they're actually not dealing with Indians at all. The savages are called troglodytes. They're inbred cavemen cannibals, so the group needs to hurry, because the troglodytes won't have any problems eating Samantha's tender ass. A friendly Indian from town told them where to find them. Sheriff Franklin lets Arthur know that if they lose the horses for some reason, he'll be fucked, and all the way stuck. Arthur knows what's up, so the group rides out. They're posted up later that night and everything's alright, but Arthur can't sleep. He looks up and sees that there's a thief on the creek. Arthur's quick on the draw, but the thieves have jacked the gang's horses and took off. Boomer had a nice stallion, but the gang's on foot now, so nobody hates losing the horses more than Arthur. The gang knows that Arthur will be moving in super slow motion, so they give him a head start, and Arthur definitely needs it. It's not a race, but they do need to get the hell on, and Arthur is going at a snail's pace. Of course the gang is doing laps on his ass. Arthur is pretty much solo now, on some lonesome cripple cowboy type shit. He finally catches up with the crew, and he tries to catch some Z's, but he gets rudely interrupted by the sheriff who lets him know that it's time to go. Boomer says that he'll shoot his shot at Samantha when he sees her, so Arthur bombs on Boomer, and bums out his leg. Boomer is an asshole, but he was just joking. Now his bone is popping out of his shin, so the sheriff tosses the crutch, trying to bring Arthur's crip shit to an end. He tries to protest, but Franklin basically says that he's not trying to hear that mess, since he warned Arthur that without a horse he'd be fucked and stuck. So the gang leaves Arthur and keeps moving. After a long hike, they find the hideout of the troglodytes, but they're not welcome. The savages pop out and rush them, but the gang has blowers so they bust them. The group ducks off behind a bush. The whole time, Boomer had been bragging about how many Indians he's killed. Now his arm is paralyzed by an arrow, and he's fading out slow. But he remembers he has a stogie, so he decides to light it up and take a toke before he croaks. Boomer basically says, how can he pull the hose with just one arm? So he tells the fellas to leave him with the Roscoe and get the hell on. Chicory and Franklin don't hesitate to make an escape, but the troglodytes catch them slipping and hem them up at the gate. The sheriff is all the way ass out when a savage makes him put the bone tomahawk in his mouth. Pause. And troglodytes have their set all in check. They communicate with each other in a loud-ass screeching like scream. They give the signal, then Chicory and Franklin get hauled off. but Arthur is still with it, and he's on the move. Chicory actually popped his bone back in place. It was a risky procedure, and the gang didn't know if he'd live or die. So Arthur's alive, but he's tired. The savages put Chicory and the sheriff on lock, but they found Samantha. She's also caged up in the troglodyte spot. They sound off in their deafening scream. It's extra loud. Then they bring the sheriff's junior deputy out. Troglodytes strip him down ass naked, so the sheriff knows shit's about to get raw. He tries to protest, but the brutes shut him down when they chop his finger off. Now all he can do is sit back and watch as the troglodytes start illing in the spot. They give the junior deputy a scalp, then they stick his own lid in his mouth. Then they hammer it in, and the deputy is all the way jammed up now. But the troglodytes are just getting started. They turn the junior upside down and put his ass cheeks parted. Hard pause, and it's hammer time between the deputy's ass crack and balls. The troglodytes wishbone the deputy, spilling his ass insides and intestine all over the floor. Arthur is crashed out hard, not realizing he's sleeping in the troglodyte's backyard. They wake him with an arrow. Arthur has the revolver handy, so he pops up and lets it blow. Arthur has also been hearing the screams of the troglodytes. He notices something in the dead savage's throat, so he takes out his knife. As he cuts and digs around, he pulls out a whistle-like device in the troglodyte's neck that enables them to make the screeching sound. The group had Samantha's medical bag in case of emergencies or Arthur's pain. Sheriff Franklin remembers that he has a pint of what's basically lean. They hope to trick the troglodytes into taking the pint to the head, thinking that by doing so, one or two of them might end up dead. The savages go for it. They put the pint in rotation and drink the lean until it's gone. Then they toss the flask in the fire and get the hell on. But they're not gone for long. The troglodytes double back when they catch on to the sneak attack. Sheriff Franklin knows they're coming for his ass, so he turns up and breaks out fast. But the troglodytes are not having it. They have him hemmed up. They grab the flask from the fire and make a cut in Sheriff Franklin's gut. Then they take the empty flask of lean and stick it in his spleen. Chicory and Samantha helplessly sit back and watch as the troglodytes continue to deliver terror in the spot. Then the brute puts the burner to Sheriff Franklin's balls. Arthur is creeping, but he's crawling, so he's still moving slow. He pulls out the troglodyte throat whistle. It's bloody, but Arthur gives it a blow. The troglodyte has the repeater rifle, but he doesn't know how to make it go. Then the dumbass savage figures it out. A troglodyte answers Arthur's call. He ups and pops the pistol off. They hear the shot in the cave, letting the group and the troglodyte know that help is on the way. But the sheriff is out for the big payback, so he picks up the chopper, and the savage gets his foot bushwhacked. Arthur arrives in perfect timing, and he lets the 6-shooter splat. The happy couple get reunited. They're glad to have each other back. The sheriff is still on the attack. He hacks the troglodyte's head off before he collapses. Sheriff Franklin went out on some gangster shit, but it's not over with. There's still 2 troglodytes on the loose. The sheriff has 2 bullets and a flask inside him. He knows he can't go, so Arthur passes him the Roscoe. He says he'll take out the last 2 troglodytes before he crooks. They say a sad goodbye. Then he tells the crew to get the hell on back to Bright Hope. As they head to town, they hear 2 shots in the background. Now the troglodytes should all be dead, so Arthur can go home and peacefully get back in bed. Then it ends. I rated this movie a 3.5 because Arthur was willing to lose his whole leg for love. Just doesn't sound like a good idea to me. But let us know what you think in the comment section, and like and subscribe to get more gangster movie recaps.